Go ahead and give it a little taste here and see what we got. Put a little onion with that if I can get one. Let's see. And you gotta have a little piece of onion with it. Very good, very tender. Got a nice brown on them. I'll be using my air fryer more often now for baking stuff in it. So for lunch today, I think I'm gonna make a couple of pork chops, and I'm gonna do them in the air fryer. And for what I'm gonna cook them in, I'm gonna cook them in this little pan, which fits in my air fryer perfectly. This is a 9-inch pan, and it's kind of got like an oblong shape, so it slides into my air fryer perfectly. So that's my plan, and I'm gonna cover it with foil as I'm baking it so it doesn't dry out. This is a half of an onion, and I'm gonna just slice my onion in some pretty thin slices like that. And then for the garlic, I'm gonna just chop the garlic kind of, you know, not fine at all, just chop it. So let me get that done. Here's my 2 pork chops, and since I'm gonna cook this in the air fryer, and I really don't want to have to remove too much of the grease after I cook it, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off most of the fat. But hey, leave it on if you like. So there you go, something like that. You can go ahead and season this with pretty much whatever you want. I'm gonna just use a little bit of this is some browning sauce. I'm gonna use a half of a teaspoon of it, because I do plan on eating this with a little bit of basmati rice today. I think a half a teaspoon will be plenty for to brown it. And so with the sauce, I'll go ahead and add my it'd be 1 cup of water, thereabouts, just to get it started. I might have to add as it cooks, so that'll give me a nice brown gravy. And to season it, like I said, salt, black pepper, pretty much whatever you want. I'm gonna just use a little bit Cajun seasoning. I don't know, simple. Ain't gotta think about it too much. Just do a little bit on both sides. Something like that. Like I said, onions, garlic, 2 pork chops trimmed, a little 1 cup of water, half a teaspoon of browning sauce, and trying to think what else. And also this is some paprika, just to give it a little color, and I find it helps with the gravy. I'm gonna do a half a teaspoon of paprika in there as well. It just, to me, it gives the sauce a good color. So I just kind of mix it around a little bit. Something like that, you know. Ain't gotta be perfect. And that way, as the chops cook, they'll still have the nice coating of the paprika on top, so it ought to give the chops a good color. Go ahead and get some aluminum foil, and we'll go ahead and cover our pan tightly. All right, got everything sealed up in my pan. Now we'll go ahead and stick it in the air fryer. So this would be done with no racks. I'm actually used the guides of the rotisserie to fit it in, and try not to break the foil. I mean, it fits in there perfect, and it's nice and level. So, and we're just gonna close it, and we're gonna cook it at, let's see here. I know there's a pork setting, I think, on here. Maybe not. I'm gonna just do it at 350, and we're gonna do it for 1 hour. And the water shouldn't cook out, so I'm not even gonna check it. I'm gonna just let it go a full hour, and we'll see what happens. All right, I had 2 minutes left on my cook cycle, so I thought I'd give it a look. As you can see, none of the water cooked out, which is excellent. At this point, I pretty much want my pork chop pretty much falling apart almost. So let me just kind of see. And we'll just try a little piece. I mean, at this point it's cooked. It's Is it cooked enough to be tender? That's what we're trying to get to now. So here's a little piece here. Let me see. I'd say we cooked pretty good. Take a little bit of a section here off of this piece just to make sure. Yeah, it looks good to me. That is definitely cooked good. Probably gonna need a little salt. Let me taste the gravy here. Like I said, this should be pretty grease free because I took all the actual grease off the fat off the edges of the chops, so shouldn't have too much grease in it. Sauce is good. Got enough salt in it. So at this point, I'm gonna put it all the way or pretty close to the top of the air fryer, and I'm gonna just go ahead and get a little brown on top of the chops. I think that's my plan. So let me do that. Maybe for about 10 minutes. So I went ahead and put it back in. I'm gonna go up to 400, which is my max, and want to do 10 minutes. And I didn't put it any higher up. I put it right in the middle. So after 10 minutes, we'll see if it gets a good brown on it. Okay, that was exactly 7 minutes. And that's how we look. Got a nice little brown starting on them. And it took out a little bit of the water, it looks like, which is good. At this point, I'm gonna say it's done. So we took a total of about an hour and 7 minutes, which is pretty good. And these weren't center cut pork. I mean, they look like center cut, but these were cheaper cuts I'd bought, and they cooked pretty quick. So that'd be good. I'm gonna have that with some zucchini. I'm gonna just cook with maybe a little bit of Italian seasoning and some Parmesan, and I'll probably do that in the air fryer too. And like I said, this is just a pan that just so happens to fit perfectly in the air fryer, and the air can still go around the sides of it. But yeah, so it's a very easy way to cook pork chops. And like I said, I'm not going to degrease anything because I cut most of the fat off the chops. I'm trying to eat some more low carb recipes, and I think this is pretty darn low carb. And this is actually my first time using a pan in the air fryer, you know, cover it in foil. It's actually like bake something like you would bake it like in the oven. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with my result. Like I said, just this is pretty low carb. I didn't add any thickening agents or anything to it. This is just a little the brown gravy browning mix made by Savoy's, and the 1 teaspoon has basically 0 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sodium. So it's basically brown water, but it gives gravies a nice look, I find. Not sure what's in it, but it works. And Kitchen Bouquet is the same thing. The Savoy's is just a different brand, but yeah, so you know, pretty simple. Air fryer pork chops. Well, I guess we'll call this baked air fryer pork chops, because essentially that's what I did. Hour and 7 minutes. Well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up button. Thanks.